The mosquitoes are going to find their new identities at the Iceland edges. Is this possible for the Arctic to accept the mosquitoes in under 20-degree temperature? Is this possible in the land of ice for the new larva generations for the mosquitoes? And this is the big concept as present for the earth. This almost a changing transformations of the biodiversity, not for the human migrations, for the mosquitoes and the insects too. And this is a crisis zone at present if the mosquitoes are going to find their communication first time in Iceland. If we are going to talk about the world summaries or the global summaries, Iceland and the Arctic zones was the only country and also the only area where is no mosquitoes are present since the earliest day of the earth. And it was the world record, that is the country is mosquito free country, and the country is the without mosquito nets, they were sleeping at night. But the thing is that it is the time to change something more biodiversity accept. It is the time to accept that the cold areas also going to face the mosquitoes, and it is a question about how is it possible. When we were discussing about the Arctic and the coldest areas of Iceland, we have to think one thing is very important, that the melting part of our Iceland is extreme high, which is none other than the best for the world circles when we're talking about the discussions, the ice meltings, the migration of ice peaks, and also the icebergs. And they are warming more than the other countries. This is a crisis. Unusual rainfalls, unusual climate calamities, unusual ice meltings, and also it comes from the temperature which is actually at present is going on. Since last 150 years, the Iceland countries never crossed more than 20-degree temperatures. But this year, it has almost reached 26.6 degrees Celsius, which is a crisis. How is it possible? Iceland crisis, a country which belongs to the ice, are facing 26.6 degree temperature. And is it possible above 25-degree temperature that it should be a better place to survive for the mosquitoes? And this is a crisis of the changing earth cycle at present for the global perspective. We are always discussing about the ice melting, the ice migrations, the migration of iceberg, even on the satellite connectivity. But first time in Iceland, three mosquitoes were found. And this is a crisis, emerging crisis will be in the future because the ice are melting and it's almost warming more than 2-degree temperature. And that is the other bigger crisis at present, that we are can't control the limit of 1.5 degrees Celsius, which was projected in Paris Agreement and which is also a part of SDG goals. But this is the time that some countries are going to face above of 2.9 degrees Celsius. And this is a crisis of extreme warming zones and also the ice melting very fast. And the ice, when the ice is melting, when the temperatures rise up more than 26 degrees, it becomes a crisis for the Iceland countries because they are going to face somehow new members in their country, the new identity in their country, new biodiversity change for their country. And it will be a bigger purpose, it will be a great thinking on the part of climate actions, because this is somehow a dangerous symbol for the next generation, for the countries who are always thinks they are the peace, they are maintain the peace, happiness, and they have the power of maintain a balance of biodiversity. Somehow, if the world is facing the crisis of warming, the Iceland is more than safer zones for the people who want to save, feel some cold areas, some nature, some environment. But this is the change scenario at present in Iceland, and this is also a particular purpose of commenting that Europe, that is going to face a crisis because the rising temperature almost in Europe this year almost crossed 33-degree temperature, which was a bigger perspective on the reach of more than 30 degrees Celsius in last 100 years. So Europe is facing crisis at present from the warming, global warming, and also the temperature rising and the ice melting part. And the Iceland is facing the new communications, new ideology, new insects in the lifestyle. So somehow some scientists are saying that this is the particular purpose of the migrations from the business purpose, and they are somehow coming from the other countries, but they are living, they are staying, they do not die in the particular cold zones. That is a symbol of crisis at present. So this is the time to take our discussions regarding the Icelands and the mosquitoes. They are making a new communication on the ice zones. Thank you.